but it's going.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the game. Let's get
We're a
this.
full party. We
Yeah,
got our
full
bugbear
house.
and everybody.
Everyone's here.
Hmm.
All right. Well, do we want to? Looks like Anna Kate, you would be up for scribe this week. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. And Sim, you were the previous scribe. You want to give us a
Hey,
recap?
yeah, sure. So there's a lot of stuff last session, but let's try to make this briefer. So in the aftermath of the battle, Civil told us that he had a solid interpretation for the divination that Corbin performed for us, and told us about a abandoned fortress that was claimed by the cultists out in the wilderness. It is strongly defended by cultists, and the area around it is very dangerous because some sort of really big bad undead called the Nightwalker is inhabiting the area. He also said the fortress probably has a Raven Queen relic, making it a safe place to invest as a fortress, and probably also has some other kind of protection from the Nightwalker itself, because without that it wouldn't really be viable to hang out in. He claims that his faction in the city of New Havisgard, or operating out of the city of New Havisgard, called the Midnight Pyre, opposes the cultists and other threats to stability or some such. Would be aligned with our interests, and he invited us to go to the city with him and get support from them before we try to take on the fortress. And after a lot of hemming and hawing, we eventually agreed, and Corbin navigates us to the city, very carefully fending off Sybil's prying attempts to learn more about his past or his identity in the city, since he does have a history there. As we get closer to the city, we see that it's obviously dominated by a large temple to the Raven Queen in the center of the city, and there's also a huge waterfall nearby, which is sort of a unique feature to have near a city like that. Sybil has to leave us outside the city to fetch someone called a gatekeeper to bring us to the part of the city that he's interested in showing us. Gatekeeper turns out to be a wizard specially employed by the Silent Circle to teleport people in and out of this secret undercity. There are apparently also tunnels to get in and out of there that are similarly secreted about. And Civil actually has to take those because the gatekeeper can only take the part of the tribe plus Melody. So we arrive and we find a big cavern, partially carved out, partially left in its natural state, filled with all kinds of people and buildings and the sorts of things you would expect to see in a mercantile area of the city. And we just sort of have a pleasant time while we wait for Sybil to find us. And he takes us from the open market out to the compound for the Midnight Pyre, where he again has to leave us in some sort of waiting room and try to deliver the news and get us in to see his superiors. His news apparently sends a bunch of messengers flying out to, or rushing out to redeploy the Midnight Pyre's forces in response to the threat posed by the Shadowlords returning, but nobody important actually wants to talk to us because it's super late at night. So instead, the Midnight Pyre offers us hospitality in the form of subsidizing our stay at a luxurious inn. There we got to enjoy a relatively tame bathhouse scene, and we were there approached by another person staying at the inn, a shadow elf named Kinrith, who is a fixer. He knows a lot of people and makes a profession apparently of introducing people who need things to people who can provide them, and is somewhat aggressive in his pitch because he says that there's lots of people who want to hire mercenaries. So if we are powerful mercenaries, we have a lot of options here. And we put him off, saying that we have other business, but Sim manages to extract a bunch of expository information from him about all the different factions at play in the city. One noteworthy surprise being that a Gaian-based mercenary company we've run into before called the Steel Shadow seems to be operating in force here. After the fact, or after we depart, on reasonably good terms, Kinrith leaves open the option to come to him if we want an introduction or are looking for work.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Corbin identifies Kinrith as someone who, at least at one point, was a guard in the employ of the Church of the Raven Queen, and maybe still is, although it would make it rather unusual for him to be down here. But, Kinrith admitted that he was here under unusual circumstances. The next morning, Civil says he's spoken to his superiors and they are happy to offer us useful intelligence on the fortress and possibly also on the Nightwalker in exchange for help investigating disappearances around the city. The disappearances are likely related to cultist activity, and since we are interested in both foiling the cult and learning more about what they're up to, we agree. We acquire the best available Shadowkai disguises we can get in the black market. As it turns out, it's pretty good. And a bunch of us head to the surface to investigate, leaving Melody and possibly Klaus behind to see what they can do in the Undercity. The lead we have to follow that's provided by the Midnight Pyre is just a house where someone was abducted recently, or at least someone's gone missing. And we find that it's guarded, just a couple of guards posted at the front door, so we attempt to do some investigation. Sneaking in with the spider familiar doesn't give us enough information, so Corvin, Beryl, and Anna Kate have to go in for a closer look. They successfully read, or Corvin successfully reads signs indicating that there were 2 intruders who struggled with and subdued someone in the house and dragged them some distance before teleporting out, leaving behind traces of necromantic incense, which is not a good thing you want to find at the scene of a kidnapping. There were some unusual puddles and stone chips in the house, which suggest some kind of connection to the region around the waterfall. And while we were trying to wrap up and get everyone out of there, Beryl and Anna Kate, who were waiting outside the house, get approached by a socially oblivious but physically perceptive Shadowkai who notices that Beryl is a kobold and really just wants to chat about that for a while. Turns out that this newcomer is a druid that Corvin has had previous contact with, named Shara. And she's just either putting on a really good front or just really that clueless and enthusiastic about whatever she happens to be interested in at the moment. This causes some problems for us getting out of the investigation, but she also helps solve them. And there's some eagerness between Beryl and Shara to get to know each other and help each other out as fellow druids. But we decide that we don't want to stand here and have a conversation so close to the suspicious guards. So we decide to hoof it out of there, and without any particular destination in mind. That's where session broke.
All right. So it is the 73rd of autumn at 11 a.m. Yeah, what did the group want to do?
We should find some place discreet to talk, but maybe not so discreet that it requires oaths of secrecy to take Shara there, yes?
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I am not native to the city, and I do not think any of us here are.
Morgan should know some of maybe good place in city to talk for quiet or privacy.
Oh, I can recommend some good places, Shara says.
Go ahead.
She says, well, there's a forest nearby, off to the east near the tower. I usually spend time there when I'm just trying to be alone.
That is well. I do not envy the chances of any eavesdropper sneaking up on 2 druids in a forest. Let us do this.
Okay, so you're a little bit down the street when she kind of nods and leads you this way. I think, Corvin, I'm echoing off you a little.
Let me see. Shouldn't be. Am I on something else? Let me double check.
Yeah, it looks like when I talk you light up, and I'm kind of hearing myself. Assuming everyone else kind of hears that too.
A little bit. I see the circle light up. It's quiet enough that I can't hear it all the time, but it's there.
You have like a microphone. Well, it's not happening now, so I think you fixed it. Alright, I think we're good.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So you would go over to the forest area. Sitting near the trees, Shara would say, so, Beryl, could you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Now that we're alone over here. And I assume they're going to talk a bit while the rest of you talk a bit as well.
So I think, like, Beryl would launch into very abbreviated, like, you know,
We're
kind of
we're
skip.
investigating we're investigating the disappearances that we've heard about. Um, so if you know anything about that you'd want to share with us, please do share.
She says, "Oh,
I'm not gonna provide a whole lot of background on who we are. I'm just going to.
I had heard there had been some disappearances, but I don't know much about that. As I said, I sort of live outside the city, so I just hear things from every now and then." She says, "Are you working with the church? Are you guards?"
Something like that.
I see. Well, I don't know anything myself, but I'd be happy to help in any way I can.
So you live outside the city.
She says, "Well, close by the city, enough that the aura of the relic still protects me."
Ah,
Says, "I sort of live in the nearby forest."
What do you know of ways to approach the waterfall? Are there settlements there? Or people who live or work around there?
He says, "No, not that I know of. I know that sometimes those seeking lumber will go outside and take down some trees, but I don't think anyone lives near the waterfall." You can only the Shatter Kai can live for a while away from the city, but they all have to come back for at least a day to get the embrace of the Raven Queen's relic. That's how it is.
so have you been in the waterfall area much?
I've been over there, sure. I don't know about much. There's not too much over there other than trees. It's sort of a nice scenic view if you get up on the rocks near the waterfall. There's a nice cave back there, and you can kind of sit up there and look out over the lake. It's kind of higher up, so.
I see.
Well, where there can be one cave, perhaps there are others. It seems likely that there is something up there worth our attention.
What makes you think that?
Rocks.
She looks at you curiously. She says, "What type of rocks?"
I'll show her the like a handful
Chips.
that I would have picked up. Yeah, the little chips.
She looks at them. She says, "Oh yeah, these look like the rocks near the waterfall."
Well, it is
the
apparent
less
that the abductors have access to magic for teleportation, so perhaps distance from city is not an issue for them, but it does suggest that there is something to be found there, although given how open country can be, perhaps we will not find anything when we go and look, but I don't think we have better option.
says, "Well, I mean those caves. I haven't been to them in a while, but back when I had explored them, I think it was a few years ago. As I said, it was a nice area. It's a little bit treacherous to get up there, so you have to be careful. The rocks are a bit slippery, and the path isn't very wide." But I'd be happy to show you.
Well, shall we shall we go, or shall we tell the people, the church, where we're headed?
I think it makes sense to tell at least what we have found so far before we leave city.
Yes. And we may want to see we may want to see if Klaus wants to come with us, because I think he might still be below.
Yes, and Beryl, didn't you want to go shopping for something?
She looks at you curiously. She says, "Shopping."
No. That's not what he meant. Shopping is kind of what we jokingly call it. Just she wanted to talk to an acquaintance of hers.
Give me a deception check.
What's wrong with shopping?
This is the economy here is it's
like
socialist
Russia.
and
Yeah,
run by
everything's
the
planned
church.
by the central. Yeah.
Well, there's still an exchange, right?
Not legal ones.
Oh.
And I am not the person to be trying to deceive anyone. So this ought to be fun.
That's why the black market was so pleasant. It's actually mostly just a market. It happens to be illegal because all markets are illegal here.
So she just kind of shrugs. She's like, well, actually, I did have a few things I needed to do in the city. So that would work for me. How about I meet you someplace? Why don't we say maybe the East Gate? She says, maybe in a couple hours from now. She looks up at the sun in the sky. She says, yeah, about in 2 hours. And then we can talk more, Beryl, she says excitedly.
It sounds like Beryl's been trying to talk and no one can hear her.
Oh, is she having
she has
technical
audio
issues?
Looks like it.
Technical difficulties. Beryl's just standing there silently.
Oh.
She's just shy. Beryl doesn't know what to say to any of this. Do you want to... Can you hear us, Beryl? Do you want to type something?
He just dropped off to log
there
back
she
in.
is. Oh, yeah. I just saw the chat in Discord. Okay.
Test.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she would have said to you, Beryl, maybe we can talk later then.
Yes, okay.
She smiles and says, all right, well, good luck with your shopping. And then she would head off. So what does the group want to do?
Well, we were given means to return to our companions, yes?
Did we make an arrangement on where to meet up with Shara?
She said the East Gate in 2 hours.
The East. Okay, I missed that. Thanks.
Yeah, no one seemed to argue.
Does Tribe mind if Beryl used some valuables to find merchant who will make Beryl something special?
Fine with me, Beryl.
Yeah, not at all.
It would be 500 gold worth if we can find some way to trade that amount, because I know we don't have a lot of pale coin, but it's a spell component.
If it is something you need, then I do not think anyone will argue with attempting to acquire it.
Maybe Tribe can ask contacts when Tribe gets back underground if there is anyone at Shadow Market who will trade currencies, maybe for exchange fee or something such.
Seems likely to exist. Market was large.
Alright, so where are you heading?
Well, we're getting Klaus, and while we're down there, we'll stop by the Shadow Market. Is there anything I missed?
So you're gonna head back to the gate to go
To
back
the
underground?
to the house with the teleport, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Get back
Yeah.
underground. All right. So you head back over to the streets Going through them, you get back to the gate, or the gatehouse, which has the guys out front. They would nod to you and motion for you to head in. And downstairs, you have your gatekeeper, who looks like he's playing cards with several of what might be other guards. He sees you come in, and he says, are you ready to go back down?
What a time.
Alright, gather close. He waves his staff around, casting a spell, as there is the familiar whoosh, and you are suddenly in a new area. You assume back underground somewhere.
Thank you. Trots off. Like,
Nods.
you know?
So,
Even if she doesn't fully.
Yeah. So the group heads back to the marketplace. You'd probably find Klaus is there. Maybe having some lunch or just hanging out. I don't know, Klaus, or would you be back in the hotel just relaxing?
Where was the bathhouse?
I was at the
It
hotel.
was attached to the hotel.
Okay, yeah.
Klaus is
Still in a tub.
He's still in the tub. I don't blame him. I'd be there too.
He has to get those last pesky little gnats out of his fur.
Yeah, he
He's
hasn't
been
had
adventuring for a while.
There are many. I guess there are baths in the Feywild, but nothing fancy like this. All right, so Klaus, yeah, you're back there. What do you all want to do in the marketplace?
Anybody have magic that needs this powdered black pearl stuff? Or can Beryl maybe try to use to trade?
I have no need for Black Pearl.
It's powdered black pearl. I just didn't know if it was going to be a spell component for some spell I'm not aware of. We got it off
I don't
that
think
one
so.
caster.
It is. Do you have Arcana?
Anna Kate does, I believe.
I do,
So
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe,
got plenty of
yeah.
Arcanists.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
You can give me an Arcana check if you want to try to figure out what type of spell you'd use this for.
Sure.
16. Give me a moment. Because I have to look it up as well. Got this on the Twilight Archmage.
I just don't want to use it if someone else is going to need it later, and it'd be harder for us to
Yeah.
find. But since we're low on coinage,
Yep, makes sense. And we know someone here uses or wants it.
yeah, maybe it's worth more. If the shadow cultists have been buying up all the stuff
Mhm.
that they are using against us.
Inflating prices to enrich your enemies.
So we just kill them, take it off them, sell it back, and then they go
Yeah.
buy it and then try to use it against us again.
See, this is why the Vidian Empire hates market economies.
It is used in the spell Circle of Death, which is a 6th level necromancy spell.
Anybody feel like they're going to be needing that?
Unlikely.
All right. Beryl wants to try to trade. Beryl is looking for someone who can make pretty carving. Very, very valuable, very gorgeous, very intricate little statue.
You're going to try to trade the Black Pearl Dust?
Yes, I'm looking for a carving of a dragon that is worth at least 500 gold.
So give me a persuasion check. And you can have up to one person help you with this.
Reed, Sim, will one of you help Beryl, please? Beryl
I
can't
will.
see over the tables in the market. Come with, please.
I will.
Thank you.
Up, Daddy, up. Alright, give me persuasion checks.
Oh, wow.
I'm so glad Reed came along.
So Reed's kind of helping out, talking to some of these people. And what spell is this for?
Summon Draconic Spirit.
Fun.
just so. I think it's 5 or 6. Here it is, yeah.
So you find someone dealing in exotic materials for spell casting. And he does indeed have this object with a dragon engraved on it that looks like
Oh,
it
nice,
was
ready
finely
made. I thought
crafted.
I was gonna have to wait.
No, it looks like he has several things, like the pearl that you might need for a spell, these strips of ivory. But he also has the black pearl dust, which you're trying to trade. He looks at it and says, "Well, I could probably trade you the pearl dust along with 400 pale coin for the draconic spirit engraving." He says to you, Reed.
Would there be anything else besides pale coin where we have a limited amount? Like
Don't we all? He says, "What else would you want to trade? I don't usually barter, but if you have something valuable, I could be convinced."
let me look here. What do I have?
Oh, that pale coin is actually wrong because we spent some last week. It's now 344. We spent 100 last week on disguises.
Okay.
Beryl could make another ring like the one Beryl made for Anna Kate with the powdered ruby, because the powdered ruby we have is left over from that. So Beryl,
Uh,
maybe ring and ruby more valuable when made into eternal flame.
True.
I can, Beryl. I'm not using the one that you gave me anymore. Now that I have these goggles.
If a enchanted ring is valuable, maybe this could be bargaining chip. Let's say we like kind of turned away and we're like digging through our pockets
Sure.
and
And-
consulting each other.
And we do have a pearl worth roughly 100 gold. So
Oh, as a reminder, actually, I think Beryl, you also have a or Reed also should have a +1 spear sitting in the bag. Because you
very
found a +2
valuable.
spear back in the day. That's true.
the old
Remember,
bone
you got the
spear, right?
yeah, you got the shiny dwarven one.
Well,
I have a vial of Oblex jelly also
So there's like
in
random
my
things we
inventory.
got.
yeah, I actually don't have the spear, a +2 spear. I don't have that recorded, so I don't know much. Maybe that was
There
a
was a
session I
session.
missed.
No, you were there. You were playing with it. I think we just forgot to record it. It was one of the sessions down in the horrible demon mirage dungeon.
Oh,
We found
and we came
found
away with it?
So what if I say 300 pale coin plus the pearl? Would that be enough?
Plus the black powder pearl, the 500 GP worth.
The powdered black pearl and the pearl worth 100 gold. And how much pale coin in addition to that?
So, he looks at the pearl and your black powdered pearl. He says those two together. I would, if you give me another 100, I'll take it. 100
Okay.
pale coin.
All right.
You have a
Done.
deal. All right.
We have a deal.
So he shakes on it and slides you the engraving that looks very pretty. He says, "Anything else you need, spellcaster?"
I turn to Beryl. Are we good? And I assume that we are, and we head out.
Lost barrel again. Alright.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm hearing gibberish from you guys, so I wasn't talking because I wasn't sure if I was the only one that was hearing, like the
Alright.
robots. So, did we make the trade?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so should I add a spear +2 to the bag then? Is that what I'm hearing from you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'd assumed you were carrying it because that's what we'd narrated that session. But
Well,
if
she
you're not,
has
then it's
a
in the bag.
spear +1, so if we'd gotten a spear +2, she might have picked it up. I just don't remember that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember, but I could look into it. I have to go through my old notes. I could look into it later.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it got accounted for if we do have a magic item that I forgot to record.
Alright, so that was about an hour to do that, to look around and find that guy.
Okay.
What does
Beryl
the
is
group...
sorry for using so much of valuables since Tribe didn't bring much with us.
Did we want to notify?
We should talk to Civil or someone from
Civil?
among the pyre if we can. Yes.
Okay.
Alright, so you're heading back towards the Midnight Pyre.
Sure. So that's that. We don't know where he is otherwise.
The bathing area is on the way. Do you want to pick up Klaus?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we had already gotten him. Sorry.
Alright, so Klaus, as you've been enjoying your day in the bath, unfortunately your party returns and you are summoned to go with them.
Aww.
So you kind of poof out a bit as you dry off and get all your stuff together. So you head over to the Midnight Pyre area. And when you get there, one of the guards tells you to wait a moment as he recognizes you. And he would summon Civil from within. So Civil would greet you. He says, he walks out and says, "Hello, friends. How goes the investigation?"
We will have to pursue our investigation outside of city, so we deemed it wise to tell you what we had found thus far.
What did you find?
The hole you pointed us to. There were, at least according to my friend Corbin, who is better at reading signs than any I have met, well, then certainly than I am. There were two intruders who fought with somebody inside, dragged an unconscious person some distance, and then teleported out, leaving water and stone that suggests that they were somehow connected to area around waterfall. So,
I see. Someone was abducted using teleport. That's a little bit unnerving. That means a somewhat powerful wizard was involved in this, most likely. Well, I'm glad you have a location, though.
Around waterfall is not very specific. Likely as not, we are going to wander around and fail to find things, but just in case something untoward happens or something dramatic, it seemed wiser to warn you first.
He says, "Well, I'm glad you let me know. Is there anything you need from my organization before you head over there?"
Not unless you can tell us anything useful about waterfall or its environs.
He says it's a bit of a sightseeing place that those interested in nature will sometimes visit, though our people rarely venture outside the walls these days, especially with the disappearances and, well, there's been more dangerous wildlife spotted within the area. So it's a place in the past that people would go to for relaxation.
When you say our people do not leave city, do you mean citizens of New Havisgard or Midnight Pyre?
So citizens of New Havisgard, our people leave the city all the time for various reasons.
Fair enough. Well, if this journey takes longer than expected, you may not hear from us for some time, but is there a better way to reach you at distance? I do not think we will need to call on your aid, but it might be useful to have a way to communicate.
Do any of your arcanists possess the sending spell?
Unfortunately, not.
He says, "Well, I believe we have someone who might be able to contact you. Stay here a moment. Let me see if my friend is here. He goes into the back. And let me check something.
I have heard from Jarrell that sometimes good magic users can make these stones that you can use to communicate with someone over long distances. Maybe in the marketplace, someone might have some of these. Just throwing it out there.
Could be worthwhile.
So with all this magic, whatever happened to writing a nice letter?
I enjoy writing letters, Reed. I really do, but it takes a little longer for letters to get to somebody.
Yeah, but you have nice calligraphy,
Oh, if we're gonna talk calligraphy, I'm gonna whip out my my inks and my parchment and start showing off. Yes, please.
The only thing Anna Kate has gotten to write for our group was like the spells she wrote down for Beryl, and Beryl can't read. So no one has appreciated her fine calligraphy.
I've now drawn a map to the Hall of
that's
Tarsus as well. But
beautiful. Love it.
yeah.
Sim uses prestidigitation to create a facsimile of a tiny little letter and folds it into a paper wad and just throws it at Reed. That is the only way to deliver a letter quickly.
What's this? Isn't there a magic item that's like a little like paper airplane for sending a message? Oh,
that sounds awesome.
Beryl might be able to send animal who gives message.
Oh.
Beryl has not practiced this in a long time, but
so at this point, Sybil would return, and he says, "I believe the wizard friend I was speaking of is preoccupied. My apologies, he's not here to meet you. Would have made things easier."
Well,
are many little creatures live in Shadowfell that Beryl could make friends with?
You mean insects?
No, must be warm-blooded. Must be beasts.
There are rodents and other creatures that wander the wastes of the Shadowfell. Yes.
Bats. If such little creatures came to civilization, came toward people, came toward you, would be freaky, scary moment and hurt little beasts, or give chance for them to deliver message.
As well, it would depend on the situation, I guess. But I mean, we have bats in these tunnels that can be a nuisance, but usually just keep to themselves. Why?
Okay. Tribe doesn't have many ways to communicate, but if Tribe needs to send message back here, be on lookout for small beastie that may have message.
Very well. Will it be able to find its way down here?
Maybe.
He says, well, if it can get to me, I promise I will listen to its message.
Maybe it will give message to guards at house, guards that teleported Tribe at house on surface.
Oh, the gatekeeper? Yes, though he's not always up there. There are ways to get underneath to this place that don't require teleportation. If it is a small creature, it could very likely find its way if it knows where it's going. I don't know how your magic works.
Beryl hasn't practiced this magic in a long time, so Beryl not sure. Beryl just trying to come up with ideas.
Perhaps it works best then if... are we permitted to leave via tunnels rather than by teleportation? If someone could guide us through, likely that would
Yes, that's a good
facilitate.
idea.
If we know where tunnels are, more likely that Beryl can direct the animal messenger appropriately.
He says, well...
Yes.
the silent circle is not currently allowing that. There's a bit of a lockdown in place, so unfortunately, the only ways in or out are the teleportation gatekeepers. But if your animal doesn't need to know how to get in through the spell, I'm not sure how your spell works, but many magics will just guide the creature. It can get down here itself, just as a rat or a bat could through the caves.
That is our best option. Then we will see. Hopefully, we will not need, and we will return with good news in brief time. We will see.
He nods. He says, "Well, I shall tell my guards to let any bats or rats they see pass through. Though this may anger some of the people living here if we're allowing rodents in, at least for a few days."
That is well.
All right. Well, if you think of anything else you need, let me know. Otherwise, good travels to you. And hopefully,
How
we
long
shall.
is Journey to Waterfall?
I believe it's an hour or two. It's not that far. It's
Oh,
pretty
okay. Yes,
close.
yes. Beryl can definitely have Bat find you. Bat will have plenty of time.
All right.
Just look. Go ahead.
All right. So, is anyone doing anything else before you head out? It's getting close to the 2-hour mark. All right. So the group is going to. Now, are you So you still have all your disguises on. Are you teleporting into the city and walking to the gate, or do you want to go outside the city and walk to the gate?
Which is fastest? Like, would walking outside the city take us a really long time or draw attention?
Outside would be closer. I don't know if it would be more suspicious. I'm not sure. Probably
How
not.
controlled are the gates leaving the city?
The guards keep pretty close watch on them. They don't just let anyone in or out. Usually they, from what you know, they take note of like your name, what your business is. Though if you're already outside the city, they probably wouldn't bother you. Though if
In
you
that
want
case,
to
let's
come,
go outside.
okay. So you would poof over to the gate as the gatekeeper brings you there. Then walking through the streets, you would get to the east gate, where you see that your druid friend Shara is waiting for you. She smiles and waves. She says, "Are we ready to head out?"
Yes, I think we are.
All right. So as you approach the large gate, the Shatterkai guards come up and ask you all for your names. Shara will happily give them her name. She says, "I am a druid who lives on the outskirts. I'm returning from a trading trip."
I thought we went outside the gates from the cave so we didn't have to exit the city so we wouldn't be questioned.
I thought you said you went into the city because you wanted to meet Shara. Because she was still on the inside.
Oh, all right. I thought we specifically said we were taking the route where we didn't get questioned, but okay.
Well, you would have had to
We
go
could split up.
inside. But
Right, she would have waited. She would have been waiting for us on the inside of the gate.
yeah, you didn't really let her know that you were trying to avoid questioning.
Could split up and send some people outside and some inside, and just meet
Or
up.
Beryl could go get Shara in animal form.
Oh yeah.
But that does use one of her animal shapes, so it's fine. Whatever we want to do, guys.
So Shara kind of looks back and she sees you're all hesitating. She says, "Are we ready to go?" Did you forget
I think
something?
we are.
Alright, so are you going to give them your names? The guards, I mean.
Meaning that, like, they'll ask for our names to come back in, like to confirm that we
Yeah,
came
so
from here.
they're taking your names as you leave. So
Yep.
I guess we'll say Beryl. Are you giving the guard your name as you approach, or are you going to give him a fake name, or how are you going to do it?
Beryl's gonna look around at the rest of the group because we didn't discuss this, so she's not sure what she's supposed to do.
I will give my name as Kata again.
Alright, the guard records it. He says, "Kata, and what's your plans leaving the city? What are you looking to do outside the gates?"
We've heard the waterfall is lovely. We wanted to see it. We've heard that. What am I saying? We want to go. We want to go see. Have a little picnic at the waterfall.
He nods and looks at you a little strangely, then looks at the druid and just shrugs.
I told you, deception is not my thing.
It's fine. We've got the druid. It's reasonable to go wandering around the wilderness.
He doesn't seem like he's trying to see through a lie. He just writes down what you say.
Great.
And what about you, young one, looking at Beryl, who is kind of done up to look like a little kid? What's your name? I assume you're with Kata here. Is this your mother?
Yes, this is my child.
He nods. What's your name, little one? You there, Beryl?
Yeah.
She's shy. Her name is Opal.
He nods and writes down Opal and smiles and says, "All right, little one, you can go." He would look to Shara and say, "Remember, there have been some sighting of dangerous wildlife in the area, so if you're taking care of this group, just be cautious." Shara smiles and nods and says, "Of course." And what about you, sir, looking to read?
Yes, I'm Reed. We're headed toward the waterfall.
All right. He takes your name and he says, "And you?" Looking at Sim.
I have been called Sim.
He jots down your name. I assume you're going to the waterfall.
Of course.
And he looks up at the big. Well, did we get Klaus' disguise?
I don't think we did.
No.
Can you disguise a bugbear as a Shadowkai? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there a way you could disguise yourself, Klaus, or do you just look? I guess we should have discussed this.
I have a little cape over my
You
face.
look like a really big guy. All right. So yeah, he kind of looks up at you with your cloak on, and he says, "And what about you? What's your name?"
Klaus.
Writes down, nods, and finally he looks at Corvin and says, "And you?"
Corbin.
Corvin.
Opening these people.
Excellent. He says, "Well, as I said, just be careful, and we'll see you when you come back."
Out we go.
Alright, so the group heads out of the city into the wilderness. You would start making your way through the forest area. Could I have a D20 roll, please?
Wilderness. Woo! Uh-oh.
Okay.
Perfect.
Give me a D100 roll. Okay.
Average.
Do any of you have survival?
Yeah.
Give me survival checks. To two of you.
Bears fall. Everyone dies.
Okay. So you are walking over as I said, through the forest. You start to get closer to the waterfall, the large black lake kind of stretching out before you. And you do see, as you get up there, Shara would point and say, "There's a path over here. Are you trying to get up behind the waterfall, where I assume you want to look at where those rocks came from?"
Yes.
Yes, that is.
Alright, so she leads you. Now, to get up here, the group would have to do some acrobatics to keep from slipping.
That sounds fun.
But Chara would say, if we have someone with rope, it might be a good idea to tie ourselves to each other. I know some people come up here using rope and pitons to make handholds. That might be the safest way. It'll just take some time.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I've already gone up.
Alright, yeah. Heineke says, hop, 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 jumping from rock
Well,
to
then
rock.
we can toss you the rope to secure it up there.
Shara smiles. She says, I can fly up there if I want to.
I will. I'll pass Reed the immovable rods and say, perhaps you can tie a rope for us at top.
Okay, sounds good.
Zoom.
Alright, so how are you getting up there, Reed?
He
Look in
linked
the
his invocation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So you start slowly floating up into the side, going up the side. It's very wet as you get closer to the top. There's water spraying all over, and there's a huge gush of water going past that looks like it could be very dangerous if you leaned out too much. But you fly in between. Getting to the top, you secure the rod and tie the rope to it.
Yep.
You can make acrobatics checks, or you can make athletics checks with advantage to get up here now, if you use the rope.
So your choice, acrobatics or athletics?
Yes. It looks like Beryl might be having some trouble.
She starts to climb and slides right back down.
Yeah, I'll say she's having some
Scrambling
trouble
her
getting
little
started.
feet and sending gravel everywhere.
Do you want to try again?
I'll cast guidance on her.
Okay.
Then I will try again.
Okay.
Oh man.
So as you're going up, you slip on one of the rocks.
Is guidance 1d4? I forget.
Yeah, guidance is 1d4.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, right.
So, and you said with advantage with the rope, so that'd be a 22.
Well, if you're using athletics.
Oh, the advantage is only for athletics. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess I... Okay. All right, sure. Then I guess I slid back down.
So give me an athletics check with advantage as you try to keep yourself from falling. Like, slippery. Okay. So 17 would be enough. You kind of steady yourself, and you are able to continue going upward, making your way to the top. Who else has to go?
Oh gosh.
I'll use the rope.
Okay, so you're doing, athletics. Alright, so yeah, you get up without an issue. Yeah. Klaus is holding on, using his strength to carefully make his way up, and he does.
Well, this could go poorly, but I think the advantage is better than not, so... Not enough.
Alright, give me
Not
another
even with-
athletics check.
Tie the rope around your waist, Sam. We'll pull you up.
Well, I gotta not actually eat it first.
This is hard. Alright, so you managed to steady yourself. You don't fall, but you're having a lot of problems getting up.
Could I pull him up?
Yeah, well, if you want to tie the rope around yourself, Sim, they can pull you.
Sure. This is undignified, but it'd be worse to fall, so I'm gonna just lash myself to the rope and...
Alright, so you can use a strength check to just pull him up. Alright, so Klaus, kind of using his raw strength, pulls him, and you manage to get him up that slippery slope without him falling. So I think you're all up
Nice.
now, right? So at this point, it's about...
Anna Kate and Reed had time to have a picnic while the rest of us figured out how to get Sim and Beryl up, basically.
Yeah, so it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. So you get into this cave area, and immediately things feel a little bit off. There's a strange rot. It looks like there's a bunch of little plants and fungi back here. Does anyone have a passive perception of 16 or over?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if you do, you would notice that near one of the caves, a lot of the plants and the just various like little lichen are all rotted and decaying, like withered, as if affected by necrotic energies.
Bad gardener lives here.
Well, it tracks with what we saw before with necromantic spell components.
Shara would walk over to them and say, "Huh, this seems odd." As
This
you
is
kind of
likely-
point them out.
It was not like this the last time you were here.
No, there's something strange going on. A lot of these plants seem to have been poorly affected by necrotic energies. And I mean, the Shadowfell is ripe with necrotic energy, but this is quite a larger amount that has affected these. Did you tell her
I'm
why
sure
you're
somebody
here?
did it.
We told
No,
her we were
well, we-
investigating the disappearance.
Yeah.
She says maybe this has something to do with the abductions?
It is likely.
Yes, it seems like it.
She says, well, this cave might be where you want to go if this death is any indicator.
Yes, our leads look promising.
So, only question remains whether we try to attempt to proceed quietly or just walk forward and see what we will see.
I'm happy to sneak in a little further and do some scouting. Although if there's anyone who has a better eye for detail that wants to come along,
I can go.
Okay.
Beryl, yeah.
No, Corbin has better eye for detail than Beryl, but Beryl good.
Okay.
So the two of you are trying to scout it out.
Yeah.
Give me stealth checks as you make your way deeper into the cave.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So you are.
Oh, I see. You got to one up me. All right.
So you are
The
very.
dice. To say it so.
Yeah. So you're very quietly moving deeper into this cave, which almost immediately you believe you chose the right direction because you find a lot more of the rot as you get farther within. It leads you a little bit deeper into the mountain area behind the waterfall, and you get to a point where you hear a strange, almost gurgling noise coming from up ahead. But you don't see anything yet. What do you want to do? Do you want to go further and see what's in there? Do you want to head back?
I'd like to at least see what it is, I think. Poke my head
Yeah.
over.
Okay, so you're trying to get closer. One moment.
Does this sound like water, or does this sound like weird gelatinous creatures?
You would guess more like a creature.
Okay.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah. So you should see yourselves in a moment coming in at the bottom of the screen here. There's two of you. You can both see in the dark, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So the two of you are sneaking in from the south.
There we go.
The noise is coming from somewhere north of you.
Well,
This music is kind of fitting.
it's suspenseful.
I'll to be safer, I guess. I'll pop out my raven called Dusk and have it. Wait a second, and I'll send the raven out, like flying somewhere like high in the room, and see if I can
Okay.
spot something before I am killed.
Alright,
Seems like a good. Yeah.
Aw.
is this a familiar?
Yes.
Oh, why am I?
Give me a... Well, did I give you a token for your raven?
I don't I don't see one now.
Alright, I can grab one right now then.
I rarely plan to use it in any kind of like tactical sense, but yeah, we'll fly it over there and see.
Alright, so I will give you control of this thing. You should see its sheet at the very top of the journal right now.
Okay, I see it.
Okay.
And I can click on it. Yep. Okay.
So you tell it to fly ahead a bit. Are you looking through
Yeah,
its
no.
eyes?
For now, yes.
Alright, let me give you sight then. I don't think it has dark vision, unfortunately. Let me check the sheet. Might
They
not
don't.
be
No,
super
it doesn't.
useful anyway. According to this, no, it just says normal sight, so maybe it won't be
Oh.
too useful in here. Oh.
That's silly. Okay.
I think, I think you could have it, well, it might be weird for it to try to fly through a cave if it can't see anything. He'll probably just crash into the wall.
Yeah. If it's pitch black, I'll bring it back. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Damn it, Raven.
I figured they could see in the dark.
Because everything can in 5th edition, except cats.
I feel like they neglected beasts a bit. Okay. Well, let's inch forward until we die.
That sounds like a plan.
Well, if I remember correctly, wolves can't see in the dark in 5th edition either.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Can do a perception.
Well, give me a stealth check.
Another one. Okay.
Yeah, as you're getting closer to this thing. Whatever it is.
Stealth.
And what's your passive perception?
22.
Okay, so you definitely hear something moving around up ahead, like over
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay.
As you get closer, the gurgling gets louder, and you hear. You're not sure what you hear. It's almost like a strange scraping noise.
Corbin, you may be more perceptive, but I am likely faster.
So it's around the corner.
If Huh?
It looks like it's around the corner.
Okay.
Yes. Sounds like. Is it getting closer or not?
It sounds like it might be, though very slowly.
Let's be like, let's wait here a little bit and see if it comes past.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then we'll watch for it again.
Alright, Anna Kate, give me a stealth check.
Why didn't that roll? There we go.
Yeah. So you're both very stealthy in the darkness as a strange-looking creature comes flying into view.
Fine.
It flies.
Well, that's always fun.
Uh-oh. I think I see that faded out thing. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
There's ichor dripping from its mouth as its dead and blank white eye just kind of rolls around in its skull. It floats
I'll
up this
back up.
way, going north into a cave out of sight.
Oh lordy.
I'll need the group for that one. I'll jump back out.
Okay, so you're heading back.
Yes. Oh, meet them back at the group.
Alright, so you go back through the cave, finding your group nearby. They're still back at the entrance, I believe.
Yeah. Well, we went a bit farther. It's being patrolled by, looks like a undead beholder of some kind.
Huh. I wonder how much of its potency it retains in undeath.
Is undead covered by religion?
Yes, to know
Okay.
about undead, you would make a religion check.
Let me see if I know anything.
And I guess I can check too.
While
And
we're back on.
beholders. Yeah, that's it.
Go ahead. I'll guide to
So if you have religious training, you would know the flavor text that I linked with the creature.
Okay.
So you know a little bit about them.
Oh, dang it.
That text is all about zombies, just in general.
So you would know. Let's see. Does it have anything about the beholder? So the only thing you would know, other than that, is that the beholder zombies are often created after a beholder falls, or gets too old and dies naturally, and the corpse is used. They are not as powerful as true beholders, but the undeath retains some of the abilities that it had in life.
Cool.
So, yeah, it is still a bit dangerous, but not as dangerous as an actual beholder. And it's also not as smart.
Mm.
Which is a big part of what makes beholders dangerous.
Yeah.
So at least still formidable.
Well, then. I do not think the Midnight Pyre would be particularly grateful to us to simply learn that they are here and that it is guarded by such a thing. But, so I would suggest that we...
Shara says, you think they were... I assume they weren't taken by the beholders. I'm guessing there's some sort of mastermind behind this.
Maybe beholders are a tool of same people who are kidnapping.
Right. Corvin said that it looked like someone had been dragged, and I don't think a beholder would have dragged someone.
From my previous encounters, the magic used and stuff, it still does point to the Tone of Shadow, I imagine.
I'm in agreement.
She says the what? The Children of Shadow, did you say?
Yes.
Yes, Shara, sorry. I apologize. We do suspect that there's a cult behind this. Do you know anything of the Children of Shadow?
Oh, I'm familiar with them. I think it would be hard to find someone in the Empire who doesn't know of them. They're fanatics and very dangerous users of necromancy.
No.
She says, I don't know much about them, but I know that they're bad people.
Fortunately, we are also dangerous people. Let us see what we can do about this.
She says, alright, do you think
humble. Tried very humble.
Do you think you'll need me, or do you mind if I wait here?
It would likely be wise to wait here if you are not confident in striding into such things.
Says, no, I'm better equipped to handle nature. This place is making me very uncomfortable. All the necrotic energy coming out of it.
Oh, quick question. I assume we gave Melody a choice of whether or not to come with us when we went to get Klaus.
I don't know if you went to speak with her, so we'll just say that maybe you left her at the inn. for now.
Okay, but we would have told her where we were going, I would think.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I had to sneeze. All right, so you're heading in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just be cautioned. We are likely to attract other attention in fighting this thing. So I would not expect to fight only this thing.
So the group is led through the cave, and as stated, the area that you come into is just ripe with this rot and necrotic energy. Klaus. Sim. Barrel.
Sorry, my roll 20 just flickered. I'm gonna get set up again.
Yeah, I'm getting some lag as well. But you all come in here. Is anyone using a torch?
Nope.
Alright, so you're all going dark vision. So the
Devil
hallway
sight, baby.
opens ahead of you. You don't hear the drooling anymore. It sounds quiet.
Oh, and Klaus, you bathed this morning, so I think that means you have temp HP. Is that right, Lou?
Yeah, it was 10 temp HP.
Because the rest of us took a rest since then, so we would just have our normal 9, right?
No,
Uh,
wait. Oh,
If you didn't bathe in the morning, then yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
Sim gives you some too, doesn't he?
Right, that's
Yeah,
the normal
that's
9,
9. Yeah,
yeah.
I got
That's fine,
9.
just checking.
Alright, so Beryl, as you walk further north, with your passive perception, you would start to hear a gurgling noise.
Coming or going? Like getting closer or further?
It seems neutral.
Okay. Barrel, here's the gurgle.
Can I tell which hallway? Straight or on the right?
It sounds like it's coming from the right again, though further away.
Okay. It's through the right passage here. Peek across
So
this
are
side?
you all trying to be stealthy?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, give me stealth checks for the group.
Do I have to roll if I'm not moving yet?
If you're staying back
Ooh.
there, then no, you don't have to roll.
Cool.
Such stealth.
Okay.
That's right.
Klaus, are you staying back as well?
He rolled and he rolled good.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, did you roll?
No. Yeah, I did.
You didn't roll.
I didn't roll. I lost my character sheet here. Hold on a sec. I might have to reload.
We're a pretty stealthy group, honestly. Like, I mean, the fact that none of us have negative or like 0, like, we all have a modifier, I think.
I don't like trying to be stealthy, but yeah, my stealth mod is 6. Like.
Yeah, I've been in groups where we've got more than half of the parties like +2 or less, So
Yeah.
This is a very sneaky party.
There's a lot of benefit to being able to be sneaky, but
And this is without pass without trace.
Alright.
Like sometimes we can be even sneakier than this.
Yep.
So you would make some noise, Anna Kate, but you don't think you were heard necessarily.
Can I peek around this corner, or do I need to move to get line of sight?
Give me a moment. See something. Okay. So yeah, you can go ahead and peek around. You can move your token north one.
Yeah. Okay.
So far, with your 60 feet of dark vision, I don't think you'd see anything. But you do hear movement kind of back here.
Okay. Still straight ahead. What's this? The rubble looks like right here.
Yeah, it looks like a collapsed area of the cave, just some rubble.
Is it enough to hide behind, or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. And is this a death trap? Can you tell from here?
So it looks like the floor is a little bit uneven. With survival, if you were closer, you could check it out.
So I come to here. What's down here? Do I see this?
So to the south, you would notice something moving around in the darkness, and the gurgling noise. Yes, you believe there is a beholder zombie down there.
And this is separate from the gurgling over here?
Yeah, the one to the south isn't moving around
Okay.
as much, whatever it is.
Hold.
Or whatever it's
I
doing.
think there's two. There's one to the south.
Maybe.
I'm gonna jump it fast.
Yeah, but if there is another that is close, then maybe we get cut from behind.
That's why we need to kill it fast.
Okay.
As you are whispering, you hear more movement coming from the north.
Like up here?
Yeah, somewhere in the cave back there.
Like movement on the ground?
No, more of that shuffling. You'd guess it's another beholder zombie.
Another one.
So we hear gurgling ahead. We see something and hear gurgling south, and we hear something up north that's shuffling. Is that right?
So you think you hear them from 3 different places now.
Yeah.
To the
Well, and I'm assuming if we
south-
can see the token on the map, then we can see the one.
Yeah, so you can see the one down south. It's not very stealthy. It looks like it might be either resting or just keeping an eye out. You hear something over here, and now you hear something up north here.
Looks like north might put us away from these two. Unless there's more danger up there.
It sounded like the north is further away, you said, right? It was a little distance up north,
Yeah.
whereas these other two are a little closer.
It's also separated
think?
by the other two by the tunnels.
Ooh.
I think either you should go north or jump the one to the south real fast.
Agreed. South.
What do you think? South?
Sure.
I guess we're doing it.
Alright. So you're attacking the one to the south?
I believe so.
Oh,
Or
Sim's moving.
when
I
everybody's
need
ready.
a stealth check from you, Sim.
when people are ready.
Yep.
Sim's like, what are we doing? Climb, climb, climb.
I actually don't have disadvantage on stealth. I have mithril armor.
There you
So
go.
my stealth check is not terrible, but we'll see.
Nice.
Alright, so you're moving up towards them. Yeah, you don't think the one to the south has heard you all coming, so you might have advantage. Or at least
I'm gonna hold right
surprise.
here.
So, give me initiative rolls.
Is everybody ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so we do it. Probably led.
So, Klaus, you would not be able to hide there. Are you stepping out to that area?
Fight.
Oh, wait, I just realized I was on mute. Klaus, if you guys step out like that before you roll, it would see you. You'd have to be back behind cover when you start.
Okay.
But you can, it just would mean there'd be no surprise.
So what about here?
Yeah, everyone, like, you would have one person at the edge here, and everyone else would have to be kind of back in cover, so it couldn't see you. Because you assume they have dark vision.
Does somebody want that first spot? I'll move back a little bit.
I can start off with an arrow.
This
Yes.
is the first. I'll take that.
Can I? Well, yeah. I guess. Let me see if this has ever. Yeah, it does. So never mind. I will wait till initiative.
Okay. Go ahead and give me initiative rolls.
And I think Anna was going to prompt the initiative by letting go an arrow.
Still roll in.
I
Right,
was
right.
I was proposing that I do that, but we may be able to all.
Yeah, Barrel's not going to make a move until one of our party starts the combat, so I would assume that might be you, unless someone else wants to jump in.
Looks like it will be me anyway, based on the initiative order.
Alright, so I have initiative from everyone. The first act is going to be the zombie, surprisingly enough. So as you're coming forward, it would go first, but it is surprised, so it would lose its turn. And a Kate.
All right, I'll pop out
Okay.
and take a shot.
Alright, so you attack the creature.
Kinsey shot.
Heyo. Nice start.
That is a crit. Alright.
Oh, I didn't make it sharpshooter. I'll spend a key point for Death Strike, and I'll also make this an arcane shot.
Okay.
A grasping arrow. So here is the.
Alright. So that would be 12 damage from the piercing and death strike, it looks like. 7 and 4 is 19, 23, 26, 30 points of damage.
Ignore that 6, and then I only rolled the grasping arrow once. So here's the second roll on that.
Okay, so the poison doesn't do anything to it because it is indeed undead and doesn't have any circulatory functions.
Of course it is, but it's wrapped in vines now.
So yeah, the arrow basically just hits it right in the side of the face, doing 30 points of damage. It barely reacts. It just kind of gurgles a bit, turning its body floating towards you. So it is... What is it, restrained or no? It just has the effect
no.
where if it moves, it takes damage, right?
It takes damage and it reduces its movement speed by 10 feet.
Okay. Anything else, Anakin?
That was my first shot. So I'm checking real quick to see if Death Strike is only once per turn. Yeah, no, it's only once per turn. So Kinsey shot, though, is for every attack. So here comes the second one.
Oh.
And there you go.
Oh wait, do you have advantage for surprise or no? Is that only on the first strike? Yeah.
No, it's surprise is just the condition that makes it lose its turn. You don't actually. You would have advantage from the stealth.
I see.
But no, 11 would miss on the second shot.
Okay.
All right. I will put my bow away and move up to here.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Okay. So Beryl, what are you gonna do?
Miri, you're muted.
Oops, sorry. All right, so this is our first encounter today. She's going to be a little cautious, and she's going to pop out, and let's just try a frostbite.
Alright, so you cast Frostbite on the creature.
Oh, wait, is that Constitution? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was thinking it was Wisdom for some reason. It's probably like its highest stat.
It would indeed make the save and resist your little poof of cold.
Bonus action, I'll put Shillelagh on my... No, let's do... no, I don't... So I have Magistone? Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'll do Magistone as my bonus action, and then I'm actually going to step back just to give lots of room here and not have us lined up for the creature, because I don't know what it's capable of.
Okay. At the end of your turn, you hear what sounds like a bunch of bones back here, like crackling. Maybe a bit of chittering. That is it for Beryl. Klaus. You there, Klaus?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Can't really see what that was.
So you move up towards the thing?
Yes. I will put my shadow down.
Okay.
There. And I'll just well on it. Is it safe to say that it hasn't taken its turn this
It
combat
did
yet?
take its turn. It passed.
Okay. So I wouldn't get surprise attack.
No. What do you mean surprise attack? No. It already took its turn. It was surprised, but it didn't do anything for its turn.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll just whack on.
Alright. So you swing at it with your flail. Ooh, but no. Even with its slow and dead state, 12 is not enough as your flail just kind of bumps into the side of its body. The 23 would strike with the second attack, doing 8 points of bludgeoning. There's a bit of a splattering noise.
And
14 would barely miss it. Anything else?
That'll be it.
Reed.
Reed is going to go 15 feet to the east,
Yeah.
and then take 3 Eldritch Blasts.
Alright, so you fire at the creature, which would have light cover from you.
Okay.
Pew, pew, pew.
Alright. See if this works.
Yeah, 22 would strike with the first, dealing 11, as there's more splattering, and the creature is wounded. Then it would take another 12 as you blast it the second time. And 20 would blast it a third time for 6, as a couple of rotting eye stalks fall off of it. Anything else?
I'm just going to move 15 feet back to the west. 5, 10. That's it.
Okay, you as well hear some weird, like chittering noises coming from the north. Sim.
Straight north or over here northeast?
Up here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you said it at the end of my turn, I thought you were meaning over here. Okay.
Cool. I'm going to... Sure. I will cast Far Step. Because I want to have that up. Okay. Which looks like this.
Alright, so you start concentrating as you affect yourself with Far Step.
Yep.
Go ahead and give yourself the
And-
timer and the concentration.
Yeah, sorry, I was having trouble with my selection tool. I was still on the ruler.
Oh, and mark yourself with your shield and your sword.
Oh, right, of course. Right.
Which I will assume you had your weapons out.
Thank you. That's concentration. Where is it? There it is. I just had trouble finding it. I know what it looks like. All right. So with the cast of Far Step, I will. Oh. What's happening? Isn't it Q to get the ruler? There it is. I'll move there.
Alright, so you poof as you use your magic to teleport.
And I will take my Eldritch Blasts at the beholder.
Yeah, 27 will strike 19 will strike, but 10 will miss as you blast it twice, doing 16. And it is looking near death as it's kind of falling apart now.
I'm going to take my ordinary movement back.
Okay. Corbin.
And that's all for me.
Step up. Sorry, is there enough little rocks in this square to stay hidden? Okay.
Yes, you could use that square as a cover if you want to make a hide check.
Okay. So that's within range. Yeah, okay.
Do you have any weapons in your
yes.
hands?
Yeah, I was gonna do that once my time came up.
Okay.
Do I need to make a hide now, or do I use my hide that was already in?
So if you move forward, you'd have to make another hide check, which I think
Okay.
you did.
Okay, I shall. I'll use a bonus action hide.
Okay.
16.
16, yeah, you're probably hidden.
Okay, and then I will attempt a normal slingshot at stealth.
Okay, so you have advantage, and when you have a chance, can you mark yourself with the ranged icon?
I thought I did. I pressed the up button. Did it not happen?
You might have not had your token
Ranged.
selected.
Oh, that's probably it. I was on the measure.
But a 29 would strike with the first attack.
Okay. Damage. We'll just go full damage.
So
28.
28 damage. Okay. So it's gonna make a con save. So it would fail and it kind of falls to the ground and splats.
Great. And just so is this high enough to hide from or shoot over, or how high are these rocks?
They're probably like 2 to 3 feet, so you could probably hide behind them.
Okay. So I don't have hide right now, but I shall move. Why can't I? There we go. I'll move to here. And that'll be it.
Okay. So from behind you, a creature would come into view.
I guess we'll fall prone here, just so I'm
Oh, hey.
down.
So it moves in from the east, floating there. It kind of stares blankly at Reed. And you see one of its eye stalks begin to twitch as it lights up with magical energy. Reed, give me a d4 roll. Okay. So a ray is going to shoot at you, Reed. I need a con saving throw. Okay, so you are struck with the ray. Luckily, it doesn't seem to do anything to you. That is it for the creature. So you kind of feel yourself freezing up as the ray hits you, but luckily you resist the effect. Yeah, that's it for the creature. The creature to the south is dead, so it can't do anything. From the east of you, you hear some more noise.
Would I... Oh. Yeah, sorry.
As something kind of floats out from behind some rocks over here. It would see Anna Kate Anakate, give me a D4 roll.
Oh, fun.
Okay, it will,
Pick your
similar to the other one of its eye stalks starts to light up and it fires a ray at you. I need a wisdom save.
Oh, hopefully.
15, so you resist whatever the effect is. And yeah, luckily it has no bad effects on you. That's it for those creatures. Give me a moment for something. So just realized I outlined this. Alright. Yeah, so Anakate, what are you gonna do?
All right. I guess I'll charge that one. 5, 10, 15. Drawing Shadow Strider as I run toward it silently.
Okay.
And attack.
So you rush up to it. Yeah, 19 will hit with the first attack. So you cutted it for 14 slashing and 6 necrotic.
Is it resistant? Or
It does not
it's not
seem to be.
resistant?
No.
Interesting. All right. Second attack will be unarmed.
Yeah, 25 will strike with the punch. Doing another 14 points of damage.
And well, since this thing seems to be using rays, dodging probably ain't going to help too much. So I will attack it again. Nice.
Yeah, 30 will strike it.
And I will try to make this a stunning strike just to see what happens.
Alright, so it takes 12 points of damage. It has to make a con save. It would fail, and you have stunned it.
Damn.
Okay. Should have done that on the first attack, but hey. All right. I'm looking around to see if there are any others approaching.
You don't see anything else in the area. You do
I'm just
hear
gonna
some
back.
noise from back here, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of back away and like take cover from anything that might come around that corner. I think I had 5, 10, 15. Yes, I had just enough to get right here.
Alright, barrel.
You're muted.
I'm assuming there was some sort of noise behind me when this guy attacked Reed, or like sent that ray at Reed.
Yeah, you would definitely see it back there if you have dark vision.
I mean, I can see like the very edge of its token, but like, would something have alerted me to spin round? Is I guess what I was saying. Like, would Reed have made like an oof noise when he got rayed?
Well, you would have heard it using magic, because it would have fired a ray, so that would have made some noise.
Right. I think I can get here, and then I will.
So when you get there, you will see something.
Oh, fun.
Oh no.
Off to the side, you can barely make out a large creature coming through the darkness towards you.
Oh. Reed, maybe there are more creatures coming. Big bony creatures. Beryl is gonna become. This is not what she was gonna do until she saw that, but Beryl is gonna become Garrel. I was trying to remember what Anna Kate had dubbed her.
Which one is Geralt?
Garrel is the scorpion.
Alright, so I gave.
Wait.
You don't have to switch tokens anymore. I'll just say you get big and mark yourself as wild shaped.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that changes. Well, how do I track the? Okay.
So you can use the red thing to track your.
Which already has temp HP.
Yeah, so you just add the 9 to that.
Okay. And then okay. All right. So, but what I was saying was wait, because I actually wanted to double check and see if the scorpion doesn't have dark vision. So she's going to be Beryl,
Barrel?
the cave bear,
Oh, okay.
the cave
Yeah.
bear,
So that's fine.
Beryl.
So there should be a wild shape marker for you. You just put on yourself. This way you just stay in the initiative order.
Shape marker. Okay. Okay. Try again.
You should see it. It's one of the last ones in the Combat Master in the chat.
And then I have to remember if I don't stay in wild shape. I see it. I just don't know how to add it.
You click on your token, then click the plus.
Yep. Clicked it twice. I just have to remember that if I leave wild shape without using my temp HP, that I'm okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to get used pretty quick, but yeah, you can remember you have that 9 temp along with your.
Now, when I shift, can I now take the additional movement that the new form has, or would I have already used my full movement?
So your speed would change, but you already would have used part of it. So if you have extra,
I could still use the remainder. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can I squeeze through this space, or would I not be able to fit?
It would just be difficult terrain, but it would be squeezing,
Okay.
so you probably don't want to end there.
So that would be 10, 20, 30. Yeah, I think. Oh, no, wait, because I already used 25. So. I can't get there without squeezing, or what? Because I'm not sure which spaces are squeezing. Like, is this space squeezing? I'm not sure.
These 2 squares are squeezing, so that would be 20 feet of movement to get through those 2. Then it would be normal again.
Okay. I will hold my action to do a sting attack.
Okay, so you're ready in action.
Yeah.
That's it for you. Or no, not sting, because you're not a scorpion. You mean
right,
like
sorry.
a bite.
So then, yeah, probably a bite or claw.
Alright, so from around the corner, another one of these large creatures comes down. 25 feet to here. In the darkness, it sees. Were you hiding, Corbin? No, right, you were just taking cover.
Yeah.
35, 40 feet to here. That is going to charge you, Corbin, using its charge.
Like over the rocks? Okay.
Not over, around them.
Okay.
So it went 70 feet. But it does not get to attack yet, because that's a double move. So that's it for the creature. Klaus.
Okay.
And yeah, the floor did not seem to cave in when it ran over it.
Good to know.
Well, I see this guy right in front of me, so I will go after him.
He is moving up at Corbin. Alright, so Klaus rushes up.
And I will summon my shadow there instead.
Okay.
And I will start whacking.
Alright, so you take an attack on him. 18 will strike with the first attack. Doing 26 damage as you smash him with your flail.
And I will move him back 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll follow up with that. And I'll keep.
Alright, you swing again. 25 will strike a second time, doing another 30 damage, and he is looking wounded. Actually, looks near death from that one.
Well, got enough bludgeoning damage.
And another, I guess, 24.
Alright, so you smack him a third time, and he would shatter.
Wow.
Anything
Bashing.
else?
Nope. I'll be.
Alright, so the Minotaur from up north is going to come over to here, giving you an Oppie as it's coming through. Or not an Oppie, ready action, so you can spend your reaction barrel to attack it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. She would claw if I can get the shoot to work.
Yeah, 21 would strike as you claw it coming through, doing 13 slashing.
Does it have to like tumble or overrun to get through?
If it wanted to do that, but it's just going to attack you.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said it was trying to come like through, as in past me. Gotcha. Okay.
Just through
You
the
just went
rock. is
through
what I
the
meant.
squeeze.
Yeah.
So is he squeezing? Does that give him disadvantage?
He is, so 14 versus AC.
Would miss. Oh wait. 12 is the armor. So
Oh man.
Unfortunately,
For the
yeah,
poor
bear.
see, I see. Now I've got to change my AC on this token now too.
Well, I can just remember it's 12. So 11 slashing as he cuts you with his axe. That is it for him.
So what's the squeezing do to him then?
Advantage on him. And he
Oh,
has
on him. Okay,
disadvantage.
gotcha. Okay,
Reed.
then. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Reed is going to cast Synaptic Static between the Minotaur and the Undead Beholder.
Okay, so in saves.
Yeah.
They might be good at those, Reed. Be careful.
Steal your synaptic statics. You can't use them later. Yeah, he would
Oh yeah.
fail.
The Minotaur definitely failed.
So
So it takes 22 psychic damage, looking wounded. And the Beholder is going to try to save as well. Failing, it would also take the 22 psychic, and they both have minus d4 or d6.
Minus D6 on all attack rolls, yeah.
Okay. Alright, so that's it for you, I assume.
Yeah, I'm gonna step back to here.
Alright, Sim.
Alright. Well, let's walk forward a little bit. Because that's what I do. Put myself in danger. My. And I'll actually cast sure, Sacred Flame on this Minotaur. Because why not? Have it
Okay.
come back a little bit.
So the Minotaur will try and make a dex save. Nope, it would completely fail. Taking 12 radiant and looking pretty beat up. In fact, it is near death as well.
Okay.
Anything else?
I will take my bonus action to teleport back
Alright,
away.
Poof away. Corbin.
It's 10 feet. skeleton here is near death?
It looks, yes, very beat up.
Okay, I'll just, I'll bonus action for Magic Stone. Then I will shoot it once.
Alright, you send a
So
magic
Stone's up.
magic stone at it. 13 will strike.
Good. Okay. That's not my number. There we go. Is this okay, yeah, so it's
Okay.
19
so-
plus 8. I think it's 27 bludgeoning and 1 piercing.
So it would take 55 points of damage and just explode as your rock shatters its spine and it falls to pieces.
It's very satisfying.
Yep.
I'm the last 10 feet behind this thing.
Okay.
A little bit of cover.
The zombie goes, and I'm gonna roll the d4. Because I just realized I was supposed to be rolling. This doesn't matter. Oh. Alright, another eye stalk begins to twitch, firing at Barrel. Barrel, I need a dex save.
Uh-oh.
And this would be bear dex, right?
I believe so. Alright, so you would
Feel
make
pretty
it,
good.
luckily dodging the green ray it shoots out at you.
The bear sticks out its tongue.
That is it for the zombie. Another creature comes running around the corner over here. Coming out from behind here. It's going to, let's see, 25. Why can, there we go, 25, 30. Or wait, no, it'd be 40. So that's a squeeze past the beholder. It's going to rush up at Klaus, ending its turn. Because it has to charge. That's it for that one. The beholder back here is stunned.
30 feet.
So it's going to sit there for the time being. Anna Kate.
Alright, back around the corner. And 20 to attack the one that's stunned with advantage.
So, something I forgot to do.
Uh-oh.
When you step there, something near you lights up.
Oh,
Huh?
that's not good generally.
It's a dance floor, don't worry about it.
A rune lights up as you step there, and it is going to explode. Necrotic energy.
I feel like the rune lighting up would trigger PTSD for Beryl and Anna Kate and Reed, and we wouldn't pass it.
So luckily you're the only one there when this happens, but there is an explosion of necrotic energy, and I need a con save.
Oh, why did it have to be con?
Spend inspiration.
I mean, I don't know how bad these things are yet, so I will try. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we won't find out how bad they
So
are.
Oof.
you would make it, taking 19 points of necrotic damage. It does not
Okay.
seem to affect the undead, strangely enough.
Surprise, surprise.
Anything? Okay, so that happened. What are you gonna do, Anna Kate?
Alright, now I'm gonna attack with advantage.
Okay.
Heyo.
Alright, so that is a crit on the first punch.
Nah, I won't use death strikes. I'm gonna conserve some key here.
All these monk crits. It's almost like Anna Kate makes more attack rolls than everyone else.
29 points of damage. Right, so you punch it for 29, putting it near death with the first attack.
Alright, here's the second attack.
Alright, yeah, that would punch it again, or punch it, I guess, the first time, doing 16.
Mm-hmm.
Still up.
Still up, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That was a
That's-
challenge. Can you
I
rise
know.
to the challenge?
Well, all right. I'll just use my bonus action attack here. Oh,
Oh.
Wait, didn't you have
Bad
advantage?
decision.
It's still stunned, right?
No, yeah.
it is to
Stun
the end
till
of my
your
turn.
turn, yeah.
So next turn it gets to go.
But
Maybe you'll kill it.
isn't that a 23 instead?
Oh, yeah, because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
stunned,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you would hit, yeah.
You might
Thank
kill
you,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
So that would do 14 points of damage.
Oof.
Well.
And
It just makes
Oh
it.
my. g-
does not die. Anything else?
No, I'll stay where I am because I want it to attack me and not somebody else. So
Okay.
that's my turn.
Barrel.
I think I will squeeze and 10, 20,
30 feet
30,
of damage.
40
Uh,
damage.
It would be 30 feet to get from where you were to where it is. Or wait, no, there's
30?
there are bones
It'd be
there, so it'd
40.
be 40.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's his speed. Or the bear's speed. And then, okay, wait, I gotta. Okay, so I'm used to having the token macros on my wild shape. So let me find the. Let me find the wild shape character sheet here. Okay, so then he's going to bite and claw.
Alright, so you would strike with both, biting and clawing for 9 and 13, so 21 damage.
21?
22.
Yes.
Or 22.
Okay.
Alright.
So, yeah, that's all she's going to.
Alright.
Well, actually, can I still use my cunning action with the wild shape?
Yep, you sure can.
Is this squeezing here?
Yes.
What about here?
No.
Okay, I'll go there so that people have a clear shot on him. That's my
Alright.
turn.
So next up is Klaus. There is a guy right next to you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I will go welling on it.
Alright, so you swing at him. That would actually still hit with the first attack. Doing 24 damage with the first hit.
And I will push him up.
Okay.
And I'll follow that up. And then I'll hit him.
Alright, you smack him a second time with a 15 for 30 points, and he is very wounded. It's still up.
I will use my Unleash Incarnation.
Alright, so you attack again with Unleash Incarnation.
Oh!
Oh, but no, 10 would miss, unfortunately.
Okay. And then my third attack will be on him.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
Unnecessary.
That'll do.
So, 40 points of damage would send him flying everywhere. Anything
Everywhere.
else?
You.
I will just move a little bit more. That'll be it.
Right. Next up is Reed.
Let's see. I'm gonna move here. Actually, I don't think I can see where Anakate is. Can I send one Eldritch Blast up towards this one, and then move farther east and send 2 more at the Undead Beholder over here?
Yeah, that should be. Well, I don't think you can do that because when you cast, you fire all 3. It's not multiple attacks; it's all at the same time.
All right. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I'll fire all 3 at this guy.
Pew pew pew. All right.
Good.
So several bolts of energy go whizzing over at that one. The first one will kill it. Or wait, actually maybe not. So you do 8 damage. Nope, it is still alive.
Okay.
As an eye stalk goes flying off. Second shot. That would kill it. And the third one just doesn't do anything.
All right. That's it.
Sim.
Walk up a little bit. And Eldritch Blasts on the remaining beholder.
Alright.
I guess I'll move over here to try to avoid cover.
Pew, pew, pew. Alright, you fire more Eldritch energy up north. They would all miss.
Ooh.
Surprising.
Yep.
Anything else?
I'll spend my bonus action to teleport back again.
Poof. Alright, Corbin.
Okay. So move to here. I'll bonus action try to hide there behind the rocks.
Okay.
For
Yep.
19.
You believe you were hidden.
And then sling magic stone.
Alright, so first is advantage.
24.
Yeah, that will strike.
These,
For
30 damage.
30, and it looks near death.
Beautiful. It gets to go, but that's sad. And then I will just move back here. There we go. That's it.
Alright, the beholder goes. I think it can still see you, Corbin, just barely. From that
Really? Wow.
From that one corner, I think it can connect to, yeah, this one. So it can still see you, and I think it's going to go for you, because you just hit it really hard. Okay, so it is going to fire a ray at you. I need a dex save.
Okay.
Oop.
Do I call inspiration before or after the roll?
You have to do it before.
Okay, I will use one.
Okay, so you have advantage.
Okay, dex save.
Oh god.
24.
Yeah, so you dodge
Nice.
out of the way and it would miss you. That's it for the creature. Then it would be Anakate.
All right, I'll let's see. Can't really tell where the other beholder is right now, but I would assume I could hear something.
You just
You
saw like
probably
a
just saw a
green
ray
ray
come
shoot
down.
up from the north, and
All
Quinn
right.
go, "Oh God!" as he dived out of the way.
I'm heading that way.
Raven Quinn, defend me!
5,
I still will lose our streak of
15, 20,
nobody
25,
to take
30,
damage. That's all.
35, 40, 45.
I think only
There.
Beryl has been hit this battle.
No, I've been.
And
I got hit by a
Oh, that's
trap.
true. Yeah, you got trapped. Okay.
I guess I'm spinning a key point for Step of the Wind.
Okay.
Oh shoot! Sorry. 5, 10, 20. Oh, I see it now, but I don't think I can get to it through this corpse.
You ignore difficult terrain when you step in the wind, right?
Do I?
I don't think
I don't
so.
remember. It's been a while since I've done monks. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but I can jump.
You could jump difficult terrain, yeah.
My jump distance is doubled,
What's your
so I
strength
should
score?
be able. My strength score is 10.
So you could jump 20 feet right now if you want to jump.
Yeah, so I will jump over the corpse.
So you just leap. Did you have 20 feet of movement left?
I think I had exactly 20 feet of movement left, so I still can't get up there and attack it.
I think you only jumped
Well,
15
that was
feet.
15 feet. Yeah, you still have another 5
Oh, great. There we go.
Oh,
I'm
Bam.
sorry, not there, right there.
ha!
And I will attack.
Alright, you
Monk
punch
shenanigans.
the floating, rotting thing. Or sorry, you stab it with Shadow
We
Strike.
should be totally distracted by that jump because that was impressive.
That's pretty sweet.
Threw herself over there. 12 points of damage. It's looking very wounded as you cut off several eye stalks.
All right, second attack.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you stab it
Look
right
at
in its
that.
eye as a bunch of rotting juices explode all over you and it falls to the ground.
Ew.
And the battle is done.
I would like to use my bear senses and sniff around for any other smellies nearby since I have advantage on checks that rely on smell.
So this whole place smells of death. It's definitely unpleasant.
Ooh.
You don't smell anything in particular in the area.
Okay.
But yeah, this whole place doesn't smell good to you.
We should see what we can learn from this place, although we should perhaps be cautious of more traps.
Yeah, can I ritually cast Detect Magic and just sit down for 10 minutes?
Yeah, you want to take 10 minutes here? That's fine. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute stretch break, though,
Okay.
That's good to me.
in real life. I'll be back.
Rich.
One day I'll crit a skeleton.
One day.
Sneak
Actually,
attack, double crit.
Yeah. Honestly, like those magic stones are like I know they're just a cantrip, but like against skeletons with the extra like bludgeoning vulnerability, magic stones have come in handy for Beryl a few times against skellies.
The blitz round for like 120 damage.
Yeah, and obviously with your sneak attack, it's a whole other story. I'm gonna have to ask Lou if when Beryl does her flame shield, is she illuminated? Does it give her any vision? Because I really wanted to be a scorpion. I would have been so much more effective as a scorpion, but I wouldn't have been able to see. But I was afraid if I didn't shift and like tank a bit that something was going to pounce on Reed. So while you guys were focused on the guys to the east. I'll have to rework my macros to have some of my common wild shapes like in my macro bar because I had them all as um token macros. But if we're not going to use the wild shape tokens anymore, then my macros don't come up. Ooh. Is there anyone else in the group that could use this new spear, the spear +2, or did we throw it in the bag because no one could use it?
I won't use it.
You won't, you say?
I will not.
I mean, Beryl doesn't very often, but when we were at lower levels, she used to shillelagh and Lou made a special ruling that she could use shillelagh on her wooden spear, like when she went up too. So but she doesn't really like use her spear so much anymore.
Can I make a finessable shillelagh spear?
I doubt it. I mean, it was the same damage as a quarterstaff. It was more just flavor that it seemed more fitting for her, and it was supposed to be a wooden shafted weapon. So he was like, sure, sure. It's just a different type of damage than it would have been if it was quarterstaff. But I wouldn't expect him to let me to like put it on or like, ness or anything special. But yeah, at lower levels, she had some very successful ankle stabs, but she really doesn't use it that much anymore. So honestly, a +2 magic item might be more valuable to this group as a trade item. Even her +1 spear might be more valuable to this group as a trade item, to be honest. We'll have to consider that next time we're negotiating with Daniel Kavar or Ayara or anyone else who procures magic items for us.
Do you have any bludgeoning items?
Oh, I don't think so, because the thing is most of our stuff we either passed out and our party members left with it, or we gave it to Daniel Kavar and sent him off to find trades with us, which he's a procurer of special things back in Char on the Gaian realm. So he's the one that has most of our gold and gems right now.
But I don't remember there being any bludgeoning weapons anyway. It's just luck of the draw for what we found.
we've had maces and stuff in this group. I just think
I don't remember there
that,
being anything on the list that I perused when I came on.
yeah,
So.
I think that they are all in the hands of people who left. Oh, well, we gave one to Shock. Shock actually has a mace that we found that it's a mace +1, but it's also like got extra damage against celestials. Not that we've encountered any, but we were just trying to arm Shock. So
I'm on a
he's
mission to
got
fight
that.
God.
Yeah, yeah. And we did have some other, I want to say mace or flail or something. We had one or two other bludgeoning weapons that were magical on some of our early characters that left. So, but those characters,
Rayless, yeah, Rayless
yeah,
had a warhammer.
yeah, and we created a like mace +1, not the Celestial Slayer one that we gave to Shock, but another one. I'm pretty sure from that tablet we found under the Alcavian labs. That magic items tablet we found next to the golem.
Well, the implication was that leaving Lyra to investigate the Alcavian labs might give us more ability to create or customize magic items. So it might be easier going forward to get what we need.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. But the other thing is that we also like after like besides the people who like were with our group when we found some of these other items, there were other items that we kind of like had as a group, and then we had like party members that kind of joined us for a short period of time, and then moved on. And we were trying to equip them because those of us that have been here for a while have quite a few magic items. So like new people would come and we're like, okay, well let's try and equip them. So we'll give them this, we'll give them that. And like it kept backfiring on us because like Beryl had a flame tongue dagger, but that walked away with an item with a character
Whoa.
that joined our
Neat.
group and she handed it to. And Beryl had boots of flying; those walked away with another character that she's like, "Here, use these while you're with us."
You gotta be careful about giving out magical stuff.
Yup, yup. Well, honestly, and that mace +1, Shock may not have it anymore. He's been imprisoned for weeks now, so
Okay, we'll loot it off the Shatterkai.
we'll kill them all till we get it back.
Shock's corpse.
Klaus will get his bludgeoning weapon.
Alright, so what do you want to do?
Well, if Reed's
Find
detect
the
magic
people,
is
we
up.
solve the problem, we go home.
Yeah, I guess we go exploring, right?
Yep.
Reed, you got magic eyes now, though, right?
Yes, I will be able to see anything magical, like those glyphs that we ran into.
Alright, so 10 minutes has passed.
Can I
it is
see if
now-
I can track maybe? See if there's like tracks going in a certain direction that would be
Oh yeah, the
people,
dragging.
or that wouldn't be skeletons or
yeah, give me a perception check to look for trails.
try. I shall ask the Ribbon Queen for guidance. Perception. It's only a 34.
So there are a lot of tracks going through the area. You would see
Fucking amazing roll.
All of them.
a bunch of different trails. You would need survival to make sense of it.
Okay. It's only a 16.
Can Beryl help with that at all?
Yeah, anyone who wants can take a look. You would just have to be where Corvin is.
Oh, I don't think I would be then. Maybe I'm just looking around me.
Oh, so heading that way. If that's where the party
Yeah,
is.
if he's up here and looking at tracks, then Beryl would take a look too.
So there are tracks coming through. It looks like they are cloven hooved in this area.
As big as the Minotaurs?
Yes,
different?
you would guess these were from the skeleton minotaurs.
Is there a clear, like, back and forth, this is the path they're constantly using kind of path?
No, there aren't too many, so you don't think they walk around much. And you don't...
Is there
Go ahead.
the dragging path that Corbin saw earlier of a body being dragged?
Well, that was back in town. You don't see that here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, sorry. I thought that Anna, Kate, and Corbin saw that when they were scouting in here just before we entered.
Now, if someone was dragged in here, they weren't brought in through this way.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So there's no indication of humanoid-sized people in this area.
Not that you
Okay.
can see. Though you would imagine that all these undead here probably have something to do with whoever kidnapped the person.
Yes, yeah.
Which direction are the tracks? Like, the tracks that we do see, are they mostly heading north and
You do,
south, east and west,
so
more one way than the other?
you do
Like,
find one set of tracks that look like they are booted, Corvin, going north up this way.
Okay. Could head north. Looks like somebody might have traveled that way.
Reed, as you step here, you notice a magic signature coming from up here.
Okay. And I mean, can I see like the sigil or?
No, you don't see a sigil. You just see that there's magical energy on that area. You would guess it's one of the sigils, because like the one that exploded on Anna Kate, she had mentioned that it just sort of appeared. Could be something else though.
Does anyone have like mage hand?
Yes. I could attempt to mage hand a thing onto it.
I'll just point to where it is and see if maybe Sim can use telekinesis, or we can get somebody to use like just mage hand to just kind of rifle through the area.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah. If you have indicated where it is, then you should perhaps step away. I will toss rocks or see if something happens when I manipulate.
oh, okay.
Behind barrel.
I actually have 60-foot range mage hand, so I can pick up a rock and sort of scrape
Bear
it all on the
embrace.
ground up there.
Okay.
It may not trigger if it's a creature or weight, but we'll see.
So if you use mage hand scraping a rock, it does not seem to do anything.
With magical trigger, it is possible to specify creature or specify size, and mage hand does not lift very much, but certainly it is not triggered by contact.
Beryl groans, thinking of past
find-
experiences that the bear cannot articulate.
Can we find a bug or a mouse?
You would, I mean, with Sim, you have Arcana, right?
Yeah.
So
Probably you would need creature
you would
or-
guess that, yeah,
larger than mouse.
this, because if bugs or mice set these off, they probably would go off constantly. You would guess it probably has to be a certain type of creature. Probably like a humanoid. Or at least that would be one example.
Send barrel.
Beryl, yeah, I was just about to say. I wonder if it counts like when you're not, but that's not going to help you guys get past. Okay, Beryl can try. Where does it start to light up?
It doesn't light up at all, but Reed has pointed at this area here as being where he sees.
She's gonna go on like go bipedal as a bear and like just like reach out her toe and touch it in the spaces. Like her hind foot toe. Okay, it's just gonna do it again.
Yeah, it does not seem to do anything.
If you
Then she's
mar
gonna
the
go.
surface, will the... I'm not pretty to magic, but if you mar the surface, will the magic dissipate?
Beryl goes back and scratches her toe around in this four quadrant 4 space area.
I would expect vulnerability like that if we could see a rune or some device. Or just magic, I do not know.
No, nothing seems to happen when you scratch it. Reed, you would still see the magic there.
The bear is still standing bipedal, and it kind of like looks back at the party and holds its like arms up in like a shrug, like oh well.
What school of magic is it emanating?
Necromancy.
Probably the same one, I would imagine.
You would guess that dispel magic might get rid of it.
All right.
Anybody?
I mean, I could cast dispel magic on it. It's just I only have 2 more slots after this, or I need a short rest.
Can Beryl come back and like just trace in this dirt? Like basically, he wants to trace this shape. Basically, hoping that they understand like what she's tracing. But she's tracing Oops, sorry, that did not work. The map moved on me. Sorry. Let me do that again. She's gonna trace. Can you guys see this? Oh, you
Do
guys,
what?
maybe you guys can't see that. Okay. She's gonna trace like kind of an oblong little tunnel path, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to I don't want to give more information than she can convey with her little art. She traces a tunnel that loops around but doesn't continue. That's all. I can't give you any more when she can't talk because I don't think it'd be fair.
I will cast Dispel Magic on the
Okay.
on the spot.
All right, so there is a little poof of energy, and you no longer see the magical aura.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and minus the spell slot.
And you enter a cavern the exact shape that she traced on the floor. She was just trying to say it was a dead end, but
Can I see if there's a should inspect the walls.
Yeah, always a good idea to let Corbin investigate.
Right.
Perception
So
or investigate.
it would be perception, though being dark, you'd be at disadvantage.
Is it dark enough for dark vision?
Even with dark vision, perceptions are
Okay.
at disadvantage unless you have devil sight, which I think only Sim
Okay.
has.
Oh, wow, that's a net one.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to see in the dark. You can see, but it's you can't make out details as well as if you had a light source. So I think with disadvantage, your passive is 5 less than normal, which would be 17. Yeah. So yeah, looking around, you don't see anything obvious.
wow, nat ones on Oliver. Perception. Oh, there you go. Reed sees something. Maybe. Or at least he sees clearly. He sees some detail. Let's see if it's just
So
natural detail in the rock.
Reed, as you are looking around, the cave wall to the north looks a bit strange to you. Investigation might tell you more, though again, it's hard to do that in the darkness.
Okay. Can I just like create bonfire right here?
Yes. So if you want to use your create bonfire spell, that would give you some light.
What spot looked funny?
Look at all the reds and greens in the last few rolls. Oh, I guess the parts
Or
of those
wait,
greens.
you know
were-
what? I just realized, Reed, you don't have
Investigate
light, so
whatever he
you're
was
at disadvantage.
pointing to.
So with a 7 or with a 11, you would not have seen that.
Mhm.
Though if you're lighting up the area now,
Oh, there's a net 20.
Mhm. Okay, so Reed doesn't see anything, but he puts down a bonfire, and then Corbin's like, "Oh, what's that?"
yeah, so with the area lit up, you can use your passive of 22 to notice that spot. And
I'm not hearing anything. What happened?
you don't hear me?
I just started hearing things. What happened? That's weird.
So with your passive, Corbin, you would now notice that spot on the wall with the light coming on. With a 29, you believe that you can move some rocks around to open up a small panel in the wall.
I will do so.
Okay. So moving the rocks aside, you would see a hole in the wall about the size of an arm. Looking inside it, there is a lever if you reach your hand into the wall.
Can I investigate the hole? Look for poison necrotic traps.
So you can't see inside of it, but from where you can see, it doesn't look like there's any obvious traps or tripwires.
I'll do the honors and pull it.
All right. So as you pull the lever, there is a rumbling. And
Back up.
A hole would suddenly open in the middle of the room, which Sim, you would tumble into unless you give me an athletics check.
It's just weird that Sim's token disappear. I just see his little
Yeah.
label that says Sim.
Might be a rendering issue.
He's under the hole.
That doesn't look likely to be good enough. We'll see.
Lou is the
No, so you're kind of caught off guard as the hole opens and you tumble down it, falling about 20 feet and slamming into what looks like a hard stone coffin at the bottom of it.
ooh.
There is a coffin down here.
7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow, my 10 HP.
Yeah, and the coffin is slightly open. And there's a foul smell coming from inside of it.
The bear is going ooh, like sniffing and like recoiling.
This can't go poorly.
I will relay what I have found here.
How far down is he?
here. It's a 20-foot drop from where the floor opened up. This looks like some sort of burial chamber. Also, the coffin looks like it could hold a giant creature. It's very big.
Oh. Okay.
It looks like only part of the coffin is revealed. More of it goes under the ground over here, but you'd have to crawl inside to get to that part of it.
Well, certainly is a resource for any aspiring necromancers, but I do not know what to make of hole that opens with lever like this.
Yes, it's very odd.
Some excavation, simply a trap, and this coffin happens to be here. Too large to dig around? I do not know.
A really big vampire?
Yeah. Do you dare look inside?
I do not think coffin can be opened as it is. It is still part of it is buried in a way that suggests you would need to break coffin.
No, the
It's
top
partially
is
open, right?
slid to the side a bit.
Oh, sorry.
Although
Oh, so you can see in.
yeah, you can see in. It's not like the side that's underground isn't fully buried.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just like someone slid it into there, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay.
And the top is slightly to the side. You could probably fit in if you used a strength check to move the top more, but it looks really heavy. Right now, only a small creature could fit into it. Do you want to look inside?
Sure.
From what you can see, there are a lot of bones in there.
Like more than a creature?
Oh yeah, it looks like there might be like
Ooh, it's a mass grave coffin.
yeah, like maybe like some sort of mass grave.
It is full of bones. Many bones. Many creatures.
Oh, this might be their depository. Garbage chute.
I
But they put him in a
Uh,
coffin. Okay, she can't speak.
tie the rope.
Okay.
Tie rope on here and throw it down.
All right.
Hey, thank you. It's went poorly last time. Cast guidance on myself and see what happens.
Yeah, with the rope you can easily climb out. Oh,
Close it back up.
Lou,
Yeah.
the calendar currently says 2:20 p.m. Is that accurate for when we completed that combat?
combat plus Reed doing his thing.
So when should I assume that I did Wild Shape?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. All right. I just wanted to record it in the spell effects because she's going to keep it for now.
So there is an area in the coffin you can't see, but you'd have to climb into the coffin to investigate it.
I'll send my little spider friend.
Alright,
Spider.
so the spider kind of creeps in there. You look through his eyes, I assume?
Yeah, I'll sit down. I'll lean against the side of the hole. And...
Okay. So it's going over the bones, looking around. What's its passive perception?
Not great.
Well, what's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 15.
Okay.
The spider has. Uh,
So it is
I
dark
think it's
in
just
here.
10. Yeah.
With the darkness, yours would be 10, and its would probably be 5. So looking around, as you crawl deeper in, you don't see anything at first. Then through the spider, you would hear a chittering noise. Then your spider. How many hit points does it have?
1, I
Oh.
think. Or...
So it makes a little like an eep sound as you lose vision. Something has killed it.
Ugh. I always hate it when that happens. Something in there has eaten my spider. It might just be that a lizard lives in back of coffin, but it seemed like there was space back there for something more to exist.
We tie the rope around the coffin. Could we haul it up?
Wait.
No, it's too big. There's no way you can get it out of there.
Yeah.
So Klaus threw the rope down, right? Did Sim already take the rope? Or is it just hanging?
It's just hanging there right now.
Oh,
I
shoot,
thought-
okay.
Unless you want to take it, Klaus.
No, if Klaus, or I'm sorry, if Sim had taken the rope, then at this point, Beryl, the bear, would be like kind of grabbing the rope with her jaws and trying to like pull it up faster, like, Sim, get out of there.
Well, Sim's already out. He climbed out. He just hasn't moved his token.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay. Oh,
I climbed.
okay.
Sorry, I'm.
I would like to go in there.
Alright, so
Oh.
Klaus is going to climb down. I don't think you can fail that.
Bear
athletics
protests.
check. I guess you could roll, but I don't think you can roll under a 10.
I can't.
Yeah, you're fine. So you climb down in there.
So I can fit into a small space without.
Yeah, and at this point, if you look in the coffin, you would see there are a bunch of bugs skittering around. Looks like they may have been disturbed.
Can I push the thing off completely?
You can slide it slightly. You can't push it off because it's still kind of stuck in the hole, so there's not enough room to push the whole top off. But you can make a strength check to try to move the massive top to the side more. Okay, yeah, so you push it
Once
open.
again, good music.
And you now think you could fit into it if you wanted to climb in. But you do see some bugs moving around in there.
Sure. I mean, why not? I'm a bugbear.
I'm a bugbear with bugs. And get some more bugs stuck in your fur.
And we have
You wanna see-
Beryl.
If you are seeing many insects, it may be that they use bugs to clean bones to make skeletons. It's
Interesting.
often faster than trying to clean bones of flesh.
Alright, so you want to try to crawl in and get, kind of crawl over the bones?
Speak
Yeah.
from experience.
Okay. Let
There-
me check something.
There are funerary rites that rely on bones rather than interring entire bodies. There's every culture has ceremonies, yes.
Alright, so you're crawling around in there. What type of armor do you have?
Plate.
Okay. So, as you start to crawl over the bones, you do feel like little bugs crawling onto you and biting you. You take 2 points of piercing damage as you're kind of trying to swat them off. I assume you're going to keep crawling deeper.
Yeah. See
Okay.
if there's anything else.
What's your passive perception?
Knocked at 11.
Okay, so you kind of crawl into the back area, the part that's underground, and there are a lot of bugs now crawling up. You would take another 3 points of piercing damage, and you don't see anything obvious back here, just a ton of bones. Like, this thing is just filled with bones. I don't know if you want to start searching or.
Yeah, I'll see if there's anything I can see that's
Do you have a light
besides
source?
bones. Um, I do have a hooded lantern.
Alright, do you want to light it? Might make it easier to see things.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll minus one.
Alright, so you light up this lantern, and oh boy, there's a lot more bugs than you thought there were. They are starting to swarm. Give me a
Mhm.
perception check.
I'll use inspiration for this.
Okay. $17. Alright, so you start digging through the bones as these bugs are swarming. And yeah, there are like millipedes and centipedes and all sorts of beetles all over you now. They are going to try to bite you with advantage. It looks like a couple of them may have hit you there.
Yeah, it looks like 3 hits. And no, it.
Ow, 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 ow,
Crit.
ow. Well, you can. Oh, yeah, because they have advantage. Ouch.
We got under his armor.
So they are biting the crap out of you. 26, 39 points of damage
Ooh,
as these things are tearing into you. You do see something glinting under the bones as you're being bitten up by these things. Do you want to go try to grab it? Do you want to try to get out of here? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll try to grab it.
Alright, so you're like, ow, 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 ow. So you would see deep down, there is a hand with a ring on it, which is what's making the glinting off of your lantern. So you fish the hand out, though as you do, the creatures continue to bite at you. So AC is 20. Alright, so this time they don't do as well. He managed to kind of roll around and kill a bunch of them. Only one of them gets bites off on you, doing another 10 piercing.
So I grabbed the hand.
Yeah, you grab the ring or the hand, and I assume you're trying to crawl out.
Yes.
Okay.
Frantically.
So you are trying to frantically crawl out. At this point, let me get initiative rolls. As you kind of hear Klaus going, ah, ah. I don't know. You'd be in pain, but I don't know if you'd be screaming. Maybe a little bit.
He doesn't like tight spaces, so.
No, this is definitely freaking you out a bit. Oh, and at this point, the bonfire's gone. But you do have your lantern inside. So you're crawling out. Let's see, initiatives for the bugs. So I assume, Anna Kate, you're not doing anything outside. You're just kind of waiting, right?
Can I step to the edge and look down and see what's going on?
You see a lot of creepy crawlies within the coffin, but you don't see Klaus. You hear movement though from within. You assume he's somewhere, maybe under the floor over here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot. I had Shadow Strider out. How deep is it down there?
It's 20 feet down to the top of the coffin.
I'm gonna fall down there.
Okay, which I think you wouldn't take any damage because you're slow fall.
That's correct.
Okay. So you now hear inside the coffin Klaus struggling a bit, trying to crawl around.
Can the lid be moved further to
Uh,
help him get out faster?
you would have to make a strength check.
Which is so my thing. Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Let's
Just
try to.
straight strength or
Yeah, it'll just be
athletics?
strength.
Yeah.
So you push on it,
Ooh.
doing pretty well. You move it a little bit, though you don't know how much that's going to help him. Anything else?
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I guess I can't really do anything else because that was my action. So I'll just.
You try to punch the
Klaus,
bugs, but
get out of there!
all right, so the insects are gonna go.
Oh, I didn't. The swarms are all around. Okay,
They're inside the coffin. They're not actually, but you
I got you.
can.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not on me yet. I see.
20 versus AC, I think would get you right. Or wait,
Oh,
no, it
yeah.
would be this one. So no, that would miss you. So yeah, they're biting at you, but does nothing. So Klaus, you are crawling frantically out of there, which will give them some attacks of opportunity. If you're okay with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Better than
So
staying.
you're like so you're crawling out, and
I mean,
they're
if
gonna.
He
if
can't
it's your
disengage.
turn, you can disengage if you're not going to attack.
That's true.
I
Is that what you want to do?
mean, I think I'm just trying to get away as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you could double move if you don't disengage, which would get you
Yeah.
further. So
Yeah.
Klaus is crawling frantically, just trying to get the heck out of there. So there's going to be some biting. That one got you for 8 piercing.
Are they at advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one got you for 13. And the others miss you. So Klaus comes crawling out. He's just got bugs all over. He's like clawing at his fur, ripping them off. You still have, what's your movement?
30.
So you would have been able to crawl 30 feet. Okay, so yeah, because you'd be at half movement. So that would get you to the edge of the coffin. So you would climb out to where Anakate is, but you do see the bugs are following you now. That's it.
And he's
Uh,
clutching a shiny.
Yeah, and he's clutching a hand that has a bunch of bugs on it, but also a ring. Barrel. It's like,
I'm sorry, like Beryl doesn't know how to help here. She's gonna pace back and forth at the lip of the pit, and yeah.
Right.
Atomic bear drop.
just jumps into the coffin.
Sorry, I only get 2 wild shapes per rest. She's hanging out. She's at full hit points. She's not wasting this wild shape.
Alright.
Atomic bear elbow drop. I'm doing.
So one of the swarms is going to move out of the coffin 20 feet as a bunch of bugs fly out at you, Klaus. Bzzz. Luckily, you are no longer at they're no longer at advantage because you're not crawling through them anymore. So they come at you, trying to bite you. Zzz. Nope. You kind of just kick them off you and shake them off as they're crawling up onto you. Corbin.
Can I see the swarm that just emerged from the
Yeah,
front?
so you would see one of the swarms, probably this one here.
Okay. I'll magic stone and attempt to hit it.
Okay, so you throw a stone into the bugs, critting
crit.
them.
Okay. Go. Take attack, ravens.
So unfortunately,
42?
they would take half damage from this,
Okay.
because they take
21?
half damage from piercing.
How about bludgeoning? Is it just?
Yeah, so bludgeoning,
Piercing,
piercing, or
It's all
slashing.
okay.
Well, I think the piercing is only the raven swarm. The sneak
Yeah,
is the
but
same
it's
as
all-
his.
It's
Yeah,
all
so
that
it's all-
type of
Oh,
damage.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so I think it's
So
42.
So it's
21.
so it's 29, 38, 42. So they take 21, which is still a lot. As there's a bunch of splatting from the rock that just slammed into like half of them. And they look close to death as most of them have been splatted by that rock from the ravens.
That'll be my turn.
Okay. Sim.
I guess I'll attack that same swarm that Corvin just attacked. Trying Sacred Flame, I guess.
Alright, so you hurl Sacred Flame down at the swarm, which has to do a wisdom save. Apparently they're pretty wise bugs, but I think they still fail, and the flames would disperse the rest of the swarm, taking it down. Anything else?
Yes, I'll spend my bonus action to heal Klaus, because I just get nervous when people are bloodied around me.
Alright, so another swarm is going to come out. This one kind of crawls
Nice.
at Anna Kate. 13 versus AC.
Nope.
Alright, so they're swarming all over you. You're like knocking them back, keeping them off. A couple of bites, but not enough to deal damage yet. But they're starting to get all over you as they get into your square. Another swarm is going to come up, get on Klaus. Same thing. Swarming all over you, but you would... Luckily your plate is keeping most of them off you now. Reed.
So there's 2 swarms that are out of the coffin.
Yeah, and they're all over Anna, Kate, and Klaus right now.
I mean, I could save one person from out there. I guess, can I just cast another create bonfire and just put it on top of the coffin so that when the next swarm comes out, they'll have to pass through the fire?
So the coffin is opened right now for more than one square, because remember they pushed it open more. You could cover one part of the coffin, and if the bugs are... Although you're thinking they're not just going to crawl through the fire, they're probably smarter than that.
Right.
Well, they are bugs, maybe not. Maybe they're stupid.
Alright, well, I could do what I was originally going to do, which was to leap down into the hole.
Synaptic static. Alright,
Bear
so you leap down
protest.
there. Give me acrobatics if you want to try to not fall on your butt.
Sure.
Make it look impressive. Come on.
Nope.
Ooh. So you kind of stumble, falling right in your face, going prone and taking 4 points of damage. Oh, as you slam into the ground.
And then I want to reach up and grab Klaus and cast Thunderstep.
Okay, so you grab Klaus, and there is a boom as you teleport out. Fortunately, I think Anna Kate is in that area, right?
Yep.
Alright, so go ahead and link it. So there is a poof. Where are you teleporting to?
Back here.
32. Wow.
Oh, so it would have to be a place you could see, so you couldn't go that far. You have to
Oh.
come up to the edge here somewhere.
Alright.
Alright, so looking up at the ledge there, you kaboom as you thunderstep. Wouldn't that still put you in the explosion radius?
Not if it's 20 feet deep, no.
Oh, right, yeah, because you poof up. Alright, so Klaus, you could be up there as well, next to him. And I need... Well, it looks like Anna Kate made it. So I just have to roll for the bugs.
I'll take half damage.
I believe so, right?
That's 16. 16?
16.
So that is a con save.
Damn it, Reed.
I made a lot of noise, I believe, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Boom.
At least we're in a dead end, seemingly. Better
Hopefully.
than where we were last time, where they came out from 3 sides.
Alright, so the bugs don't roll so well.
Good.
And most of the swarms at this point look wounded from that. None of them died, though.
Wow, really? 32? Okay. Oof.
Well, 15 damage.
What?
right? It was 15 damage.
It's up leveled.
No, it was
32.
32.
All right, so never mind. That would kill them.
Thunderstep,
I was
effective
very
against
surprised.
swarms of bugs.
I was like, wow, these are really resilient bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
I really don't like how Roll20 formats the upcast damage. It makes it hard to read.
Yeah.
All right, so Anna Kate, you took a little bit of damage, but the boom just sent all the bug carcasses flying everywhere as they are all like stunned and pretty much dead from that. The few that are
Can you
left
just
crawl
imagine the
back in.
clicking? Can you just imagine the clicking of like dead like little bug carapaces like getting like chucked against the walls and stuff? Oh, it's really creepy.
I can now, thanks.
Sorry. Yeah,
No, it's fine,
That's
it's
where my
fine.
brain went. That's what I was envisioning.
Co-DMing over there.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
going
Yeah,
to.
that's fine. All right.
Uh,
I'm gonna cast prestidigitation on myself to get all the bug guts off of my clothes.
This is a priority.
Yeah, Anna Kate looks kind of like a bug zapper right now. She's got a bunch of squished bugs all over her. All right, so things are quiet other than that loud boom that just happened. What do you want to do?
I guess I'm gonna climb back up.
Okay.
I'm gonna let everyone know I found a hand.
You say as you look really,
Look at my pretty
really
hand.
like a bunch of bees just stung you. You just got a bunch of welts everywhere.
are you, We'd better hope Ring is enchanted. If you suffered all that for just a piece of jewelry, I would feel bad for you.
I mean, we are.
It
kind
could
of
look nice,
Jewelry. We are
complimentary.
jewel poor in this realm. So.
It is fair. Would you like me to examine?
Yeah, I'll throw the hand to him.
All right, you get a bow in hand.
I'll catch it with my mage hand. I don't want to touch that.
You can't cast Mage Hand as a reaction.
Oh, you can't. I guess not. All right, whatever.
So you just have to catch it. All right.
Ugh.
So we are at time. We might want to hold here and continue next time. If everyone wants to do MVP votes, I'll tell you what the ring is next time. It's nothing. Just kidding. Maybe.
But it might be. It might be nothing.
Could be nothing. Alright, I got 1 vote. 2, 3. Oh, it's kind of a split vote. Oh, wait, never mind. 1 more person.
Yeah, sorry.
Alright, so with 4 votes, Klaus is MVP.
Oh, wow.
Everyone is
Crawling through bugs,
impressed
man.
with your crawling through evil bugs. Good job,
Skeletons
everyone.
fighting.
Yeah, also skeleton smiting was impressive.
And skeletons.
I was a lot more
jealous.
equipped to assist with that in the other game. In this game, Barrel's just like pacing at the top of the hole and doesn't know how to help.
It's okay, we got it covered. We're all good. Good game, everyone. That's great.
Yeah, good game. It was good to have everyone back, and we'll continue the exploration next time.
Cool.
All right.
Great.
Take care, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks, Lou.
No problem.
Good night, everybody.
I'll be doing some notes, but the rest of you can take off. Ugh. I don't know why I'm feeling so out of it today.
I'm actually kind of. I was debating whether or not to tell you I wasn't like even joining tonight. Like I'm feeling out of it as well. I am actually. I took a fall. Like I mean, I don't want it to be like a big deal or anything. Like I slipped in my garage about a week ago, and I went down. Like the ground was wet, the floor was wet, and it's really slick in that garage. And I went down really hard. And I've been in a lot of pain ever since. And I started into the chiropractor last week because it just wasn't letting up. And I went and got a massage today, which I've never had a professional massage before.
Oh,
And-
really? Oh, they're great. I love massages.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I told her, like, where the issues were, and she was like, oh, you got a lot going on. And in fact, the chiropractor last week had, like, taped up my neck with this, like, tape that kind of immobilized me a little bit. So I was wearing that all last week. but I had to take it off like over the weekend when it started peeling off and stuff. I've just basically the mornings I feel better because I think it's I think I sleep in a good position, but I think like just during the day I don't know. I've been in a lot of pain in the evenings for the last week or two. And so I got this massage today and I was just like it was good, but it was also like I'm so sore. I just feel like every bit of me is bruised.
Did you drink a bunch of water?
I did actually. I was I've done that the last few days. I mean, I try to drink enough water like every day, but yeah, I like I said, I'd never had a professional massage before, so I had like done some like reading and I read that that was really important. So I made sure I had more than 8 cups of water the last few days and
I'm
today before I
surprised
went.
your massage therapist didn't tell you that.
Well, it was the first time I'd ever, I mean, it was a first appointment, so it was like I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
have a chance to really consult with her until I was there today,
usually,
and she was great, but
usually at the
I
end of the
just
massage, they'll just tell you make sure you drink a bunch of water. Cause yeah, you
right,
you definitely need it for your muscles to kind of repair, and they'll use a bunch of your
yeah,
water as they start to kind of fix themselves.
yeah.
Cause
I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. There's other factors and stuff, but I just feel like I feel old. Like like in my 20s, in my 30s, I felt young. I felt good, but here I am. Like but around 38, 39, it started, but really like now that I'm in my 40s, like I don't know, it all caught up with me. My metabolism retired. The pandemic had an effect on me, like becoming less active and gaining weight, but I can't blame it fully on the pandemic. There were the knee injury and other things that made me like become less active. My dog passing away. A lot of things made me become less active, or my dog becoming really old and infirm and ill and stuff for a couple years before.